Hello again, Guardians, and welcome back to the channel for another Destiny episode. Before we begin, I wanted to first announce I am giving away 1,000 silver this week on the channel for Destiny. All you have to do to enter and win is be subscribed to this channel, show your support by liking the video, and leave a comment down below on if you enjoyed the new Destiny hotfix of 2.14.17 version 2.5.0.2. Alongside that, inside of this video, I also wanted to leave a link in the description of this video to prove to you all that my giveaways are legit. Now that that's out of the way, this video is about the hotfix, going over all of the patch notes on Bungie.net. So if you guys don't know where to search on Bungie.net for the patch notes, here they are for you right in this video, alongside my commentary on explaining everything in a little bit more detail than what they've provided, and also giving you guys explanations on the changes and how they're going to change the meta inside of Crucible, and also gameplay in PvE inside of the game normally. So there are a couple changes in this that are going to change PvE, but most of it was bent around changing Crucible. So Crucible changes with special ammunition. Easiest thing, economy of special ammunition changed in all game types inside of the Crucible. Players will start with Crucible special weapon ammunition, but if you die, you lose that special weapon ammunition. Sidearms are not affected by this change, so you will respawn with sidearms with special ammunition. Special ammunition crates now appear every 60 seconds. The initial respawn and spawn times have been changed significantly. Special ammo crates are shared with allies within 75 meters of each other. That actually was brought down from the initial 100 meters. So you have to be closer now to your allies to get the special weapon ammunition to drop on the ground if they're grabbing the crate. Special ammo timing in Mayhem is unchanged. So Mayhem mode is still the same as it was before. Next up, there was some changes inside of the Elimination game types. So round time limits have been reduced down to 90 seconds for a round inside of Elimination, including Trials. This is also brought down from the initial 2 minutes. So that means that Trials is going to go much faster now. So be careful, rush in with a sidearm and your primary, and you should be able to do the trick. Players only start with special ammo for round 1 in Elimination game types. After that, you have no special weapon ammunition. Special ammo timing is 30 seconds initial, then 45 seconds in respawn. Special ammo wiped at the beginning of the subsequent rounds. So that means that your special ammo at the end of round 1 and the end of round 2 and even the end of heavy round is wiped. So whatever special ammo you grabbed at the end of a round is not going to be there. That also means that you don't have to rush to a special weapon ammunition crate right at the end of each round. You're actually just going to have to wait during the round for that 30 seconds initial respawn and 45 seconds respawn from there. Weapons. Changes for hand cannons. Significant increase in accuracy. So the initial accuracy is pretty much from year 1. Reduced base range from 35 from the initial 40 meters. So reduced range at the entire cost of the gun's accuracy. Reduced aim and aim assist, magnetism at longer ranges. So you actually have reduced aim assist and magnetism at longer ranges, making the gun less effective. Reduced minimum damage after fall off from 50% to 33%. Now, auto rifle changes. Increased precision damage modifier to 1.3 times multiplier from the initial 1.25 times multiplier. Increased base damage of low rate of fire auto rifles by 2.5%, which is absolutely amazing. Increased in-air accuracy. So you can actually aim in the air, in mid-air, with an auto rifle better than what you used to at any point in the game. At any point in the game's history, actually, because that is never been implemented into the game before. So it's going to fire just like a pulse rifle or a scout rifle while you're in the air. Pulse rifles. Reduced rate of fire for very high rate of fire pulse rifles by 7.7%. So that Grasp of Malik and that Clever Dragon are no longer going to be as effective as it was before. Increased the rate of fire of low rate of fire pulse rifles by 5.3%. And that's actually pretty amazing because I have a pulse rifle I really want to use in Crucible now due to that. And that is actually year 1's pulse rifle from the trials. Next up, reduce the magazine size of Clever Dragon in the Grasp of Malik by 6. Reduce the effect of high caliber rounds for pulse rifles, and increase the in-air accuracy for those guns as well. Scout rifles, increase the in-air accuracy. So now all of the guns are on level playing field while you're in the air. Shotguns. Shotguns no longer deal precision damage. The Chaperone and the Universal Remote are unaffected by this change. Note, Universal Remote only deals precision damage when ADS. And then, shotguns now have significantly less magnetism than fired from the hip. Shotguns now have significantly less in-air accuracy. Shotguns no longer have a movement penalty. Shotguns now deal 20% more damage from combatants. And then rangefinder on shotguns now increases ADS time by 25%. Reduced Universal Remote's magazine size to 3 from the initial 5. Universal Remote now takes longer to reload. That is a huge change to Universal Remote. It's an exotic that has a huge change to it, and it was nerfed down. Universal Remote, I believe, due to these changes, will no longer be effective inside of Crucible. And will definitely not be effective inside of PvE. It never was effective in PvE, and I would recommend just not using it in Crucible now, due to the fact of these changes. You have 3 rounds in the magazine. It reloads and takes longer to reload. And there's also just no point in using it. You have 3 rounds in your primary weapon. Pretty much not useful. Some changes to exotics that you'll be very, very confused about. So, Young Wolf's Howl reduced the Howling Flames ammo cost from 10 to 5. So now it uses less ammunition on its supercharged attack. That is actually a really good change. Young Wolf's Howl is going to be really fun to use inside of Trials, really fun to use inside of any Crucible game mode, and also is going to be very effective inside of PvE due to the fact that the heavy weapon attack now deals less damage. Well, now deals less ammunition from the cost, allowing you to delve out more DPS. DPS for the Young Wolf's Howl is going to be tremendous. It's actually going to be doubled from what it initially was. Truth Rocket Launcher. The reduced magazine size from the initial 3 down to 1 rocket in the magazine. This is not going to be viable anymore for Trials of Osiris to wipe out the entire enemy team. I don't think you guys need to use this weapon. I think you guys can choose to pick the Iron Gallahorn, at least get 2 people off of the enemy team, and then wipe the initial 3rd. From this, Truth is no longer going to be very viable, but it's still going to be a useful weapon if you need that proximity detection with grenades and horseshoes, and kill somebody very quickly down a corridor in Trials of Osiris. But other than that, not going to be useful otherwise for wiping the entire team. They did this nerf due to the fact that there were players in Trials of Osiris that could get heavy weapon ammunition, and the entire enemy team had 3 truths. That's 9 rockets of ammunition to wipe the other side. It doesn't give the other team any chance of coming back from a heavy round if you have 9 initial rockets inside of your magazine, and also they had proximity detection. That's pretty much unfair, and I'm actually kind of happy that they removed this. Classes. General changes. Reduced health of Guardians with armor value above 10. Increased damage of flux grenades, magnetic grenades, and shoulder charge to ensure effectiveness across all armor values. Blink now disables your radar and HUD for a short time after activation, which is interesting. They nerfed down Blink. I'm not too sure why they did that, but it's a very different change. They nerfed it down a long time ago, and now they even removed your radar and your HUD. So that's pretty crazy. Hunter. Throwing Knife now deals solar damage on impact. Hungering Blade. Immediately starts health regen. Restores more health per kill. Gives a flat amount of health and shield per activation. Does not immediately start regeneration of your shields. So you will no longer be able to just survive anything as long as you have Hungering Blade. There is going to be a point of what you're going to have to do to stay alive, even if you're using Hungering Blade. So be careful out there, hunters. Blade Dancer's Quick Draw perk no longer readies your weapon instantly, but now grants a large increase to weapons handling speed, which is actually really nice. I'm actually okay with that. Warlock changes. Oh man, I'm not happy with these changes. I personally main Warlock, so here we go. Viper Totemic on Ophidian aspects no longer readies your weapon instantly, but now grants a large increase to weapons handling speed. Stormcaller's Thunderstrike melee range reduced to be consistent with other Warlock subclasses. So no longer can the Stormcaller actually snipe with their melee. Amplitude will continue to grant small range boost to new base range. Landfall now reduces the total time of your Storm Trance. All of these changes have nerfed Warlock Stormcaller into the ground. It's still going to be overpowered. It's still going to be a good subclass to use if you're good with it. But it's going to be a lot harder to master the Stormcaller now than what it was prior, because it is going to be difficult to master these new changes. So if you're a Warlock, make sure you get out there and you practice with your friends and you get to understand these changes, because there's a lot of changes to the Warlock that you might not think are a big deal, but they're a huge deal in the aspect of the Stormcaller. And also, if you're running the Ophidian aspects, you can run the Ophidian aspects with any class from the Warlock, but it's more preferred with the Voidwalker. If you're running it with the Voidwalker, don't worry. The only change you'll have to worry about is the Ophidian aspects. But if you're running Ophidian aspects with the Stormcaller, just for that increased weapon readiness and the effectiveness of readying your weapons and reloading, that is no longer going to be a case. You're going to have the increased handling speed, but you're not going to be able to ready your weapon immediately as you were before. Titan, one change. Juggernaut is now disabled after being in the air for a short time and cannot be activated while in midair, which is absolutely amazing. I'm okay with ruining Fun Police. I'm okay with that because there was a point to where Titans could survive almost anything because they could have a shield in front of them while they were in the air. It could activate while they were in the air. It was pretty much unfair. General changes. Outbreak Prime no longer triggers the corruption spreads by shooting at Ward of Dawn, which is kind of saddening. Shinobu's Vow no longer adds an additional seeker to skip grenades. Removed intrinsic perks, knee pads, and Icarus on some talent grids because they were available on weapons that they weren't supposed to be available for. And then fixed an issue where high caliber rounds were not functioning properly on hand cannons, scout rifles, machine guns, and sniper rifles. So now the high caliber rounds do work on every single gun across the board. Hungering Blade changes were also advantageously applied to the following perks. For more information, check this post. And we'll go into that post momentarily. But Transfusion, Striker Titan, Cauterize, Sunbreaker Titan, Lifesteal, Voidwalker Warlock, Red Death perk, Suros Legacy perk, No Backup Plans, Ward of Dawn cast, the Ram, Apotheosis Veil, Embrace the Void. All of those have changed. Now we're going to go and check out the post really quick to kind of give you guys a rough idea of what those changes are. They're not significant changes. They're not major changes, but they are changes. So they just launched the hotfix, and they basically just wanted to make these a little bit viable to use. They wanted to make these more viable to use. So the Red Death perk, all of these perks actually work a little bit better than what they did before, meaning that you can finally start using these again. The Cauterize for the Sunbreaker Titan, that's actually going to not do as much health as it was before, so don't think that Cauterize is going to instantly save your life. Lifesteal is not going to instantly save your Warlock. And Red Death perk. The Red Death perk is actually going to be reduced down a little bit. The Suros Legacy perk. The Suros Legacy perk is going to be a little bit more effective. The No Backup Plans are going to be a bit of a change, a bit of a down drop from your Titan. And then the Ward of Dawn cast is going to be a little bit better. The Ram is going to not allow you to really increase your armor high enough to where it's going to affect you much. You're going to actually lose health on your Guardian, but you're going to have increased armor on the Ram. So be careful with that. The Apotheosis Veil. The Apotheosis Veil isn't going to instantly save your life now. It's not going to instantly recharge all of your health. So be careful on that. Embrace the Void. Voidwalker Warlock, pretty much subsequent. There's a little bit of changes and nerfs to all of these to allow you to not survive instantly but they're still viable. They're still usable. They will save you from a tight situation as long as you get away from damage quick enough. If you use any of these and you get some health back, use that health to get away from damage. Don't stay in the fight. Get away from the fight so you can survive longer. And there you have it, Guardians. That's all the information for this update. The update patch notes are immense. There's a lot of changes inside of Crucible, and a lot of this stuff is going to affect Crucible mostly. But some of this stuff is also going to affect PvE. The perks that normally gave your health back instantly are now no longer going to save your life inside of Nightfall. They're also no longer going to save your life inside of the raid. So all of this stuff is going to have to be used effectively and appropriately to save your life inside of PvE events, inside of PvE situations. It's not going to affect the PvE situation completely, but remember, there are a lot of changes. Now, the Young Wolf's Howl, the exotic sword, that's going to actually be very effective inside of PvE now because it does double the amount of DPS that it did prior. Remember that when you're going into the raid or when you're going into the Nightfall. And there you have it, Guardians. Once again, that's all the information. Thank you guys for watching this video. If it helped you in any way, drop a like on it. Share it with your friends, your fellow Guardians, to let them know all of the changes and also the ideas behind those changes. With that being said, stay violent, be privileged. We'll see you all in the next episode.